All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Take Podcast. I'm your host, Jackson Burleson, and today's episode, I got a very special guest, Potomac Patriots left wing out of the USPCHL, which is the United States Premier Hockey League, Max Nystrom. First of all, thanks for hopping on, man.
Thank you, buddy. It's a pleasure to be here.
So how would you think this go season's going for you guys so far? How would you evaluate your team's success up to this point in the year? Because you guys are 13-6. So,
So this season we have started out pretty good actually. We started the season with the two losses, and since then the record is 13-4, 13-4-1. So we've been pretty good actually. Unfortunately, this weekend we played two games on the road and lost both of them. So that added up to six losses this on the record. But I would say we have had a pretty good start here the first like 2 or 3 months of the season.
so how has it been kind of adjusting to America? Because I know you played in Sweden for several years. So
Yeah,
how's it been around so many different teammates and just being around a different environment?
I mean it has been a little different, of course, from Sweden. The rink size in Europe it's a lot bigger than here in America. So that was like the first thing I thought was hard to like adjust to, the size of the rink. But I feel like that feels kind of okay right now. Same with other Europeans on the team. I also feel that you're adjusting to it. Uh, and on the team, I think we have right now we maybe have 8 or 9 different like nations on the team. So we have a pretty like
Oh, wow.
yeah. So we have players from all over the earth, like from all Europe. We have from Canada, America. We have from Sweden. We are 7 Swedes on the team. We have from Czech Republic. We have players from Kazakhstan, Russia, Ukraine.
Wow.
So it's
Wow.
kind of cool to see how everybody meet new people from every country, and get to learn each other, get to know each
So
other.
being around like teammates from all over the world, like what have they kind of taught you about the game of hockey that you really kind of didn't really know? Because I'm sure you pick up different things from different people on your team.
Yeah, of course. So the North American learn like told me that the the game over here is a bit more physical than it's back in Europe. And you always got to like play with your heads up, and be ready to take big hits. Uh, so that's something I've learned since I came here. The same with Russia. Big hits over there. Play a physical game of hockey. Uh, so yeah,
I think it's funny you bring up physical because you sent me a highlight clip of you just absolutely decking this kid. So I think you're
yeah,
applying everything you've learned from them physically
yeah.
wise. Like, what is it like hitting a guy that hard?
It's of course it's really funny, to just put a guy to the ice. Uh, I've always liked, hit like hitting, like hit other players. I always like think it's fun to hit players. But the big difference is like from North American hockey to European hockey is, you know, the hits are often, they occur more often. It's more hits in a game over here than it is in Sweden, and they're often like there's often harder hits than in Sweden too. So you gotta be you gotta be prepared, to take a hit like in almost every situation.
Is that kind of is that's new to you? In Sweden, they didn't hit as much when you were playing over there.
Yeah, that's true. So they hit a lot more often here and a lot more
Okay.
harder too.
So what was your decision process to come to the US? Were you looking at playing at other countries before coming to Potomac, or was this kind of the destination?
No, it has always been like a dream to play in America. I haven't thought about playing in another country than like USA or Canada. Um, so yeah, I haven't thought about playing in another country than USA or Canada. I would say.
So how's the coach for Potomac been? How has he kind of helped you get used to the US and kind of make you feel at home?
Yeah, my head coach is Josh Gratton. He played in the NHL a couple of years. He played in the KHL. You know, he has a lot of experience from the game of hockey. And I think he have really like been taking care of me and my teammates, in the right way. Uh, like making it feel like home here and making me feel like I'm having a good time. So that's really nice to have a coach like that.
Yeah, what team did he play for in the NHL?
He played for the Arizona Coyotes.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
I, I think he had I think he had some games in Philadelphia. I'm not sure, but
Okay.
I know he played in Arizona.
So, kind of touching on NHL. So, who are some NHL players that you kind of model your game after or take things and kind of apply it to your game?
My favorite player in the NHL is Sidney Crosby. Um, so I'm trying to watch his game a little bit, and do the things that he does. And same with Patrice Bergeron in the Bruins. He's a two-way center, and that's what I'm trying to be. That's how I think my game is, like a two-way center. So I would say Sidney Crosby and Patrice Bergeron.
So you're a left wing. Are you ever not a wing? Because you said you wanted to play center. Do you
Yeah,
play
I'm
center throughout the
I'm
season?
a, I'm actually a center. I played center every game this year, and for the last maybe 2 years. My guess is that you looked on the elite prospect and saw it says left wing,
Yeah, it
right?
says left wing. Yeah, when I like looked up your stats and stuff, it said you're
Uh,
left wing.
that that website can be. It's not always right there, but just you have to update it sometimes. And uh, I guess uh, I guess we haven't done that yet for my profile. So I'm actually a center, but I've played winger before in my career. So
Okay. So I've kind of noticed like watching your highlights and your game film that you're very aggressive trying to score the puck, but you also like to get your teammates involved. So what kind of makes you a team player and want to get players involved on your team?
for me, it's important to be good in all zones, in the D zone, in the O zone, and in the neutral zone. Always be like a reliable player for my coach and for my teammates. Of course, it's fun, scoring, but I hate when the other team scores at me. So you know, playing like a responsible game on the whole ice, and try to make scoring chances for me and my teammates.
What are some things that you think you've really improved on this year from last season?
I would say my ability with the puck. Uh, you always gotta skate with your head up here. You can't look down with like on the puck because then you will take a big hit. Uh, Also my physical game. I take more hits and I give more hits out. So I would say those two things.
Okay, okay. So what would you say is like the strongest point in like your game as a whole?
Hmm, that's a hard question. I think it's a hard question. I would say I'm a pretty good hockey player like all around. Uh, I at the moment I don't feel like I have like one thing that I'm really really good at. Uh, I would say like I have all the things you need to be a good hockey player, but I'm not too good at anything. Uh, obviously I would say I have a decent shot. I can Daniel sometimes. Make big hits. I'm good at face-offs. But I would say I'm a pretty good hockey player all around.
So, are there some goals that you have left for this season for you individually that you want to still achieve?
Yeah, my goal for this season is to develop my ability with the puck even more. To be even faster on the ice with the puck. Uh, Create more scoring opportunities, score more goals and assists, and be a reliable player on the ice.
So, kind of going a little bit into the future. So, what are your goals kind of beyond this season and your goals as a hockey player kind of more down the line?
So my long term goal as a hockey player is to be able to like live on hockey. I don't have to do any other work. So to reach a decent level of hockey and like play pro somewhere, that's my long term goal. Uh, you gotta have realistic hockey goals, and I'm not saying I'm gonna play in the NHL. I don't think so. But I would say playing pro in Sweden or Europe somewhere is my long term goal.
You really don't think you'll make it to the NHL ever?
I mean, you have to be realistic. There are players who play juniors here in North America who are way better than me. Uh, so that's a fact. That you have to just think about and just look at your goals and be realistic about it.
But you don't think there's anything you could do as a hockey player to be able to get to that level at some point if you really wanted to?
I'm trying everything I can. I'm trying everything I can. That's for sure. But there's like the percentage of players who make it to the NHL is so small. And now
Yeah.
when I'm 19 years old already, the percentage of that is even smaller. But of course, that's the dream for everybody. It's the dream for me too, for sure.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. I mean, you just at the end of the day, you just want to play at the highest level possible for as long as you
Yeah,
can. That's kind of what every professional athlete wants to do.
yeah,
So is this your first year being a professional?
yeah. I would say so. So over here in America, we live like professional hockey players, even though the hockey level isn't like the a top league of juniors in North America, but we live like professional hockey players, which is kind of cool actually. Uh, so it's I would say it's my first year as a professional hockey player. Yeah.
So how's it been like traveling on the road and kind of bonding with your teammates?
I love that things. I love all that comes with it. The road trips with the boys. Getting to know each other even more. Hanging out at the hotel, playing games. I I think it's awesome what we do over here. It's a little bit different from Sweden where I played last year. Uh, so yeah.
What are some of the main differences between this year and last year versus Sweden and the United States?
So the road trips here are a bit longer. The longest road trip we had last year was maybe 3.5 hours, and the longest road trip we have this year is 10 hours of like of a bus ride.
Oh man.
Uh, and this year we go for the whole weekend. So we go on Saturday morning, come back Sunday night. So we spend one night at a hotel. And last year in Sweden we didn't do that. So we just like it was a 1 day trip.
What's the farthest you guys have traveled this year? Like have you
Uh,
been on like the West Coast this year?
no, so the furthest like travel we have is to Nashville,
Nashville?
which
Okay.
I think is a 9 or 10 hour bus ride with stops, with food stops. 2 weeks ago we went up to Elmira in upstate New York, which was 6 or 7 hours uh, on small roads. So yeah.
That's pretty cool. It's definitely a different kind of travel aspect to it. How has like the chemistry been with you and your teammates throughout this season? Because you guys have so much time together, and off the ice is very important to have success on the ice. So how has that kind of evolved throughout this season?
So one thing we talked about during the training camp was that we have to have a really tight band to each other, like the teammates. So we talked about having the team first, then the teammate, then yourself, teammate self. That was something we talked about during training camp, and that we really like put in like to the team. And I really think that everybody feels like a family, and that's what you have to feel like, to be good as a team on the ice too.
So what are some goals for you guys as a team for this year? Like what is your end goal this year?
I would say, of course, winning the championship. Uh, I think me and my teammates think that it's like realistic that we can go that far. Uh, the club Potomac Patriots have actually never been in the playoffs. So
Oh
this
wow.
is yeah. So last year they missed playoffs with one spot, and they have never been in playoffs before. So uh, it's kind of cool how now when we all are here this season, we have the ability to go very far, I think, uh, and that's what we're all working for.
So I looked up like the league itself. There's actually quite a bit of teams. So how many teams get in the playoffs towards the end of the year?
So I think so in the league it's 70 teams, and I think it's 8 divisions, and the top four teams in every division to make it to the playoffs.
Okay, so it's about half, maybe a little bit less than that.
Uh, eight eight times four is the
It's
32, right?
32 teams, so 32 teams
Yeah,
would get in.
yeah. So how it works, it's the first playoff round is the number one seed in the division play the number four seed, the number two seed play the number three, and you play best out of 3 games, and those
Okay.
two teams who win those playoff series make it to the nationals, which is which is 16 teams from the whole league.
Is it best of three for every single playoff series, or is nationals do the games increase?
Uh, I think it's best of three in the first playoff round, and when you are at the nationals, you play. I'm not really sure how it works, but I think it's 4 groups with 4 teams and you play every team in the group, and after that it's like semifinals and then finals, or something like that. I'm not sure about it.
Okay. That's cool. I honestly like that's a lot of teams, 70 teams. And
Yeah,
I mean
it's a
it's a
lot.
ginormous league.
It is for
So
sure.
what are some things you do before the game to kind of get yourself mentally prepared to be ready to perform the best you can?
So
You have a
I would say
routine or
I would say I'll try to do my game day routine almost the same every day. I have the same warm up routine. I try to eat the same kind of food every day before the games. Uh, when it comes to like just when I start dressing, I have the same uh, music in my AirPods before every game. Uh,
what's your warm up routine consist of? Like what do you do to kind of get warmed up?
so if I have access to like a bicycle, I hop on the bike for like 15 minutes. Uh, then I foam roll, do some stretching, and that's probably it. Yeah.
So when you get on the ice, like you kind of you get excited or you try to kind of stay normal and composed at the same time? Like what are you feeling when you first step on the ice?
I try to stay focused. Of course, you get excited to be on the ice again, but I try to stay focused in my head, and be dialed in for the game. Uh, not play around too much. Stay focused, be
Yep.
ready.
So who are some tough players you've kind of matched up with against that you've had a really fun time playing against this year?
Players I have played against.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. This season.
Uh, so we this weekend we play against the Charlotte Rush down in Charlotte in North Carolina, and they have I would say they have some really good players in that team. I know some of them played in the NAL last year. Some played in the NCDC, which is Tier 2 junior hockey, and
Okay.
now they are on the Charlotte Rush for this year. So I would say they were pretty good. Uh, to think of someone more. There was one guy on the Hampton Roads Whalers from I think he was from Belarus, uh,
Oh,
a center.
Louisiana, Baton Rouge.
No, from Belarus, in Europe,
Oh,
the country
oh,
Belarus.
okay. Gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So he was actually kind of good. He was a center, and I had a tough time against him on the face-offs actually.
So is there a difference between like Sweden and like here, like how big the players are from like your perspective?
Mm, Not really. I would say the players in Sweden are actually bigger than they are here in America.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. I think the average height in Sweden is above what it is here in America, so that should be a reason why. Uh, of course, there are some huge players here that you play against. I played one guy on the Charlotte team was I would say maybe 6'5", 6'6", which is pretty tall. Um, yeah.
So do you do any like kind of training with like professional coaches like throughout the summer? Because I noticed your stats have like doubled since last season. Your goals have went up, your points have went up, you've went up in every single area. So like, are there some coaches you've worked with to kind of help you improve?
Yeah, so during the summer, I got a off-ice program from a off-ice coach back in Sweden. So I worked with him for 3 months, uh, and I focused more on like endurance on the ice, uh, cardio, being stronger, uh, more explosive. I think the off-ice work I put in during the summer have really helped me for this year.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask you a few more questions. So I've noticed every time you score, you have like a go-to celebration. You like kind of, is that the same celebration you do every single time you score?
Yeah, I would say I've done that celly every time. Uh, Drop one knee and point at something with your hand. Uh, yeah,
Is there like an NHL player you got that from, or someone somewhere you got that from?
not that I can think of. Um, Not really.
Is that why you wear number 87? Is because of Sidney Crosby?
Yeah,
That's pretty cool.
yeah,
Well, is there anything else you wanna talk about, or before I kind of close out the episode?
not really. I just think like as I said in the beginning, I'm having a real good, like real funny year uh, here this far, uh, and you know I like it over here, and my goal is to play here somewhere in the next season too. So
In the same
yeah,
league? Are you gonna play in the same league next year, do you think?
my goal is to play in another league at a higher level.
Okay. In
Yeah,
the US, you want to stay
yeah,
in the US.
yeah. That's
Okay.
my goal. Yeah,
Okay. That's cool, man. I really appreciate you hopping on and taking time out of your day to answer my questions and everything. Good luck on the rest of the season. make sure to keep sending me some highlight clips because I want to see some more hits like you sent me.
Oh, of course.
When I
Thank you
first saw
for
that, I was
bringing
like,
my.
"Holy cow, bro!" Like,
Yeah, he
jeez.
wasn't ready at all. I put him to the ice. It was kind of fun.
Well, that's awesome. This is Max Nystrom from the Potomac Patriots. Again, I appreciate you hopping on. But this is going to go ahead and do it for today's episode of the Take Podcast. I hope you guys enjoy this episode. The Spotify version for audio will be available, so the link will be in the description for that. And then follow my social medias. I'll pop them up on the screen somewhere. But this is Max Nystrom from the Potomac Patriots, and we're going to go ahead and sign off. Thank you.
Thank you.